I don't like the current ranking system. I think it's too easy. But it's not because I'm an elitist. It's more because I'm a little bit of a casual. So how's that make any sense? What's going on here? This is the problem with the current PvP system. It's like they fucking A/B tested it to figure out how to get as many people to be unhappy as possible. Now, with the old system, what were some key characteristics of it? You're going to have to quit your job to get rank 14. You just have to. You don't have the time, buddy. You got to make this your whole life. And what's that do to people when they're thinking, so I could quit my job and get rank 14, and I have to play with groups of people so I can pre-mate and have a super high win rate. And this means it's going to be highly political, and I need to have a super regimented schedule, doing things that largely I'm not super into so I can get some epics. And most people saw that and decided, this is not for me. I will just be a lot less geared. That's acceptable. And that made sense. Now, I don't think the rank 14 system in 2019 really made sense, but I think the position that it put a lot of players in kind of made sense. This current one, I think them making it 2-3 times as easy. I would say it's like 3 times easier to get rank 14 nowadays. It puts people in this weird middle ground where they can find ways to fudge their schedules and fit in 30-hour weeks of World of Warcraft here and there. Be like, oh, I'm going to wait for an AV weekend, and then, I'll put 20 hours in on the weekend. I'll put 8 hours in throughout the week or 5 hours in throughout the week, and it makes it so that way people can now start actually approaching the problem of how I'm going to get rank 14. But it's just not worth it. Even though it's worth it as far as a gear per hour of your life spent thing when you compare it to PvE, because it's like, hey man, you're going to get 6 pieces of fucking plate gear and 2 weapons. So it's 8 pieces, 250 fucking man hours, something like that. It's honestly pretty similar to the amount of time you're going to spend to get 8 pieces of best in slot gear. Now, that the rank 14 stuff isn't quite best in slot, but damn is it fucking close. So really, you can compare it to maybe, 6 pieces, 5 pieces of best in slot gear. And that's going to take you, probably 40, 50 hours per piece. It's not like there's that many onslaught girdles and quick strike rings dropping, and then you get into BWL. I know there's DFT. I mean, that's not really BIS. I guess it kind of depends on who you are, though, what your beliefs are about the game and the math of it. But this current system, if it was, this would be a good way, I think, they could have make it so that way getting rank 14 is something you can pull off doing 10 hours a week for, I don't know, let's say this is an arbitrary number, but 10 hours a week for fucking 16 weeks. Or you can do 20 hours a week and get it in 8 weeks. I don't know. There can be a slider so that way there's more of a reason for you to put more time in. But being able to cut it into these tinier blocks, it's nice that you don't need to do all of the honor farming back to back on a week by week basis like you did in 2019. Good change, but you still need to do it on these 7-day segments called fucking weeks, because you can't just go and get 40k honor in a day. Now, if honor rolled over day by day, it would make it a lot less shitty, because you could have some days where you do 3 hours of honor grind and then take a fucking week off, and maybe it takes you 7 months to get rank 14. That would be insane, especially because the game is on an accelerated pace, but I think it would be way preferable to the current system. The current system is going to make so many people so unhappy once this grind unlocks on April. I bet a lot of people in a lot of guilds, they're going to start cutting back on sleep because they're just a little too into this fucking game. They don't realize they should sleep more even if they want to rank, because sleeping good makes you a better person and take care of your health and make sure you're not going to fuck up your real life, because it's going to turn you into a fucking freak on the internet that doesn't get along with people. But that's just what's going to happen. Is people are going to just become fucking freaks on the internet because they're going to be like, I need to get this fucking 35 hours in, because if I accidentally get 32 hours and miss the cap by 30k, I'm going to fucking shoot myself in the head. That's that's how people are going to be acting, and it's going to suck for them. It's going to suck for the people around them. I don't like this PvP system. I think it's absolutely garbage. It reminds me of another big problem I think that World of Warcraft has, which is there's things in this game where you grind for it and it gives you a bit of a sense of accomplishment. And I sadly don't think that's most of the grinds in the game. The economy at large in World of Warcraft, I think, is fucking stupid. I get to live in a real world outside the game and interact with an economy and trade my time for money so that way I have power over others and I can make them go, make me a fucking pizza or something. All right, I don't need that in the video game. I don't think World of Warcraft would be any worse if all players, regardless of their level of seriousness, had access to consumables. I think these fucking stupid items are super cool. Like, oh, wow, take all these effects off me. It'd be sick if everyone was using this all the time in PvP and PvE. Or using protection potions so your raid goes more stably each week. And, maybe your group's really bad, and so you got to stop and think like, hey, guys, before we pull Domo, do we want to let the GFPPs get up again? Or, using shit like this. This is really cheap. You can use these Dream Vision things if you're fucking, tweaking about where mobs are in a dungeon or raid. All this shit fucking rocks for the game. It fucking rocks. Or using dumb shit like the ornate spyglass, and you can render mobs from further away. Like, you can use this to scout jet or to make like Baron Geddon spawn, or it's, mages use it for ZG boost. All of this dumb extraneous shit that fucking costs gold, like Nightfall and fucking Force Reactive Disc, that consumes all of it. It makes the game better. It's awesome that it exists in the game. It's one of the big reasons I love Classic, and it's this amazing fantasy experience, and it's just locked behind having a ton of gold. It's stupid. I don't feel better knowing that I have an unfair advantage against people who are less committed to the game because they don't have access to resources I have. It doesn't give me really any feelings at all. I mean, I like seeing that my guild rank is higher than other people's because I am a stupid insect person like everybody else who's influenced by seeing their position in some kind of fake-ass hierarchy. Yeah, I get it. But, man, if everyone had Firewater... Oh, man, this is going to ruin Classic WoW. If everyone had Oil of Immolation, this is going to ruin Classic WoW. Oh, no, what if the casuals could, have enchants on their gear? Like, fuck me. And I feel like this is a very unpopular opinion, that they don't need to have an economy in the game. For example, I would say that Wrath of the Lich King hardly had an economy in the game as far as it related to actually being effective in raid. There was the stupid card decks, which ate all the inflation along with some fucking BOE rings and other bullshit throughout the game. But in general, you didn't really get a big edge in Wrath of the Lich King. And I hated Wrath, by the way. But you didn't get like a big edge in Wrath of the Lich King by having gold. You got a very, 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 very tiny one. Now in TBC, it's kind of weird. Like raid logging on TBC, nice and cheap. Getting your Prebus set up, fucking holy shit. The profession stuff. Ooh, but the profession stuff is so preferable to the nonsense of all these consumes that you have to get every fucking week, and you can either just incinerate a ton of time or you can fucking buy gold. Like, those are your two options. You can fucking buy gold or you can incinerate a ton of time. Wow, what an amazing incentive structure. And I've not met hardly anyone. Like, I've met people who do manually farm all their consumes. I've met them. I play with people like that. It's like 1 in 20 people if you're in like a serious fucking guild. And most people, they fucking make their gold from doing some like weird shit like selling fucking item drops in dungeons, or they buy it. And that is fucking lame. And I haven't met a whole lot of people that actually think it's fun to have to do the tasks in game to get gold. And another thing that I want to do to kind of like, this just put a little salt in the wound for people who say like, no, I like how you have to grind shit in World of Warcraft. Just don't have it if you don't want to do the grind. Okay, buddy, if you didn't play on a private server before, you have no fucking idea what a no RMT environment is like. You have absolutely none. On private servers, it's not that these angelic non-gold buyers now have a way to make gold efficiently. That's not how it is. It's just everyone's poor as fuck, okay? If you go and you play on a private server, all the players are fucking broke. Because even though bots are inflationary on gold, they are also inflationary on items. And they're way, 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 way more inflationary on items. Because the gold is almost all from items being introduced in the game. But it's like byproducts of the items the bots want to get. That's where most of the gold gets injected into the economy. It's like they are farming. They're like a bot in Dire Maul, and they want like mana pots and like items to DE. But then they get lots of other shit that just makes more sense to a fucking vendor. Now, there are pure gold farms also for bots. Those do fucking exist. But most of what happens from people having RMT and bots in the game is that all the resources in the game get easier to acquire. Maybe a ridiculous stance I could take is if there was 1,000 times more botting in World of Warcraft, it would also fix the economy because everybody would just be rich in WoW. Okay? Now, that's not, I'm not saying like, I want 1,000 times more bots. That's going to fix it. No, I want Blizzard to 10x the drop rate on all the fucking herbs and maybe the mining stuff and make it so that way there just hardly is an economy at all that exists in the game. And I think that'd be fucking lovely. And I'd want the PvP system to either be way, way, way harder so that way people just decide, fuck it, I'm not going to bother with it at all, or make it way, way, way easier so that way it's not this insane suck on your life. That'd be great. And in future versions of the game, there's similar issues to this. I think Tier 5 and TBC is a little too hard. If they released TK and then SSC, or SSC and then TK, that would work much better on most guilds emotionally, because when you release them both at the same time, you put guild leaders and raid leaders in this stupid position where they make the wrong decision. What is that position? Oh, you can partially clear both raids and get everything except the last two bosses. Like, as in the last boss in SSC and the last boss in TK, and you get the most loot in the current week, and your guildies will think this decision made sense. And then next week, what happens? Oh, your guild did the same thing. Oh, yeah, you guys are hard stuck on the last boss of TK and also SSC. Well, yeah, but we didn't want to, like, do just one of them and learn how to fight the boss, you know? So you do it again and again and again and again and again. It's like 6 weeks. You haven't killed the last boss in either raid. Now, what would happen if they released the raids sequentially, one at a time? You'd be forced to spend raid time on the final boss. Your guild would figure out how to kill Vash or the lady boy at the end of TK, I can't remember his name, and you'd fucking get it down, and then the next raid would come out, and now you'd be much more time efficient. And it would make the game easier in a way that I don't think takes any glory out of it, but it makes it a lot more accessible to people. Ooh, this is going to be so fun when TBC comes out in like a year or fucking whatever, and Tier 5 is released, and we get to see all these guilds get incinerated by the ability for them to make the wrong call and not focus on getting progression done instead of getting loot. But you know what? It's really, really hard, because when you're running a group, people who don't run groups are the ones that you play with, and they don't fucking understand what's coming in the future. They'll just take for granted, like, eventually we're going to kill the last two bosses. Even if we never put any time to them, we totally will. But right now, if we don't do TK this week, then that means we'll get less purples. Like, so I'd love it if Blizzard do that. I'd love it if Blizzard would make, I don't know, like, if Sunwell was a little easier, that might be nice. Although Sunwell was kind of fine. It was hard enough that most people, I think, didn't freak out at their guilds. If they weren't able to do well in Sunwell, they were fine doing just Black Temple. So maybe I'm a little wrong there. But yeah, there's been a lot of changes in this version of Classic that I think are good. I think the rank 14 one was bad. And I hope they make some more good changes. But if they made no changes at all, I'd also be just fine if I'd keep playing. I think the juice is worth the squeeze, but they could make the game better. Man, I'd love it if they'd put out some poll to the players, and there needs to be restrictions on it, like this, for example. If you play the game less than 20 hours a month, you don't get to fucking vote, because your opinion doesn't fucking matter, all right? You're not the average player spending game time in. Like, all these fucking freaks on my screen right now in the middle of the day, like, all these people fucking work from home or don't have a fucking job and spend way too much time on the game. I think their opinions matter more than people who are fucking playing, like, an hour a day after work. Sorry! Just how I feel. Maybe that makes me a fucking asshole. But anyways, if how do you feel about these opinions? Do you think I'm a fucking piece of shit for having them? Maybe you're like, oh no, I love how the only way I can rate is to fucking spend $20 a week on gold. This is the fucking best. Yeah, let me know in the comments, and maybe you can even say some mean stuff, and then I'll freak out about it. Who knows? Also, if you're looking for a raiding guild, Night Slayer, North America, PvP, I need Warrior DPS really badly, but like we could fit some other stuff too. But you gotta be cool. You gotta want to fucking hang out. I don't want to play with people who don't want to fucking hang out. If you want a raid log, go find another guild. See you later, guys. Peace.